Over the top? No, we had no over the top rules. We were totally reasonable, thoughtful parents who made solid decisions at every turn.
For decades, Ron Howard has been one of Hollywood's most beloved and respected figures. From his early days as the freckle-faced Opie Taylor on The Andy Griffith Show, to his iconic role as Richie Cunningham on Happy Days, Howard grew up in front of America's eyes. But it was his transition behind the camera that truly cemented his legacy. As a director, Howard delivered some of the most memorable films of the last half-century: Apollo 13, A Beautiful Mind, Cocoon, and The Da Vinci Code, to name just a few. His reputation for kindness, professionalism, and creative brilliance made him a rare unifying force in an industry often defined by ego and controversy. So when news broke that Ron Howard was finally breaking his silence, and that what he had to say was not good, the entertainment world was stunned. For years, Howard has been the model of discretion. He's avoided scandal, kept his private life out of the tabloids, and rarely weighed in on the controversies that so often swirl around Hollywood. His interviews are typically measured, thoughtful, and focused on the work rather than the drama. That's why his recent decision to speak out has sent shockwaves through the industry. What could have prompted such a respected figure to step forward now? And what does it mean for the future of Hollywood, and for Howard himself? The answer, as it turns out, is complicated. In a candid and emotional interview, Howard revealed a series of personal and professional challenges that have been building for years. He spoke openly about the pressures of maintaining a career in an industry that is constantly changing, the toll that fame has taken on his family, and the growing sense of disillusionment he feels with the direction of modern filmmaking. For a man who has always been seen as an optimist, Howard's words were surprisingly somber. One of the most striking revelations was Howard's admission that he has struggled with burnout and creative exhaustion. After decades of nonstop work, juggling acting, directing, producing, and running his own company, Imagine Entertainment, Howard confessed that he has often felt overwhelmed and isolated. The relentless pace of Hollywood, combined with the pressure to deliver hit after hit, has left him questioning whether the sacrifices have been worth it. "There are days when I wonder if I've given too much to this business," he admitted. "I love what I do, but it's come at a cost." How Howard also spoke about the impact of fame on his family. While he has always tried to shield his wife and children from the spotlight, the reality of growing up in Hollywood is never easy. His daughter, Bryce Dallas Howard, has followed in his footsteps as an actress and director, but even she has faced the challenges of living up to the family name. Howard expressed concern about the pressures placed on young actors today, especially in the age of social media, where every mistake is amplified and every success is scrutinized. But perhaps the most troubling part of Howard's interview was his critique of the current state of the film industry. He lamented the rise of franchise filmmaking, the dominance of streaming platforms, and the decline of original storytelling. "It feels like the art is being squeezed out of the business," he said. "There's so much focus on box office numbers and algorithms that we're losing sight of what makes movies special." Howard's words echoed the concerns of many veteran filmmakers who worry that Hollywood is becoming more about profit than passion. The reaction to Howard's interview has been swift and intense. Fans and colleagues have expressed shock and sadness, while industry insiders have debated the implications of his comments. Some see Howard's candor as a wake-up call, a reminder that even the most successful figures are not immune to the pressures and disappointments of the business. Others worry that his words signal a deeper crisis within Hollywood, a loss of faith in the very system that made stars like Howard possible. As the dust settles, one thing is clear: Ron Howard's decision to break his silence has changed the conversation. For the first time in his long and storied career, he has pulled back the curtain on the realities of life in Hollywood, and the picture he paints is far from rosy. The question now is what comes next, both for Howard and for an industry at a crossroads. The impact of Ron Howard's revelations has rippled far beyond the entertainment industry. For many, his words have struck a nerve, articulating anxieties that have been simmering beneath the surface for years. Hollywood has always been a place of dreams and reinvention, but it's also a place of relentless pressure, fierce competition, and increasingly uncertainty about the future. Howard's willingness to speak openly about his struggles has forced both fans and insiders to confront uncomfortable truths about what it really takes to survive and thrive in show business. One of the most discussed aspects of Howard's interview was his candidness about burnout. In an industry that glorifies hustle and celebrates those who never seem to stop working, admitting to exhaustion can feel like a taboo. Yet, Howard's honesty has resonated with countless creatives who have felt the same way. Directors, writers, actors, and crew members have all come forward to share their own stories of fatigue, anxiety, and the toll that constant production schedules can take on mental health. Howard's admission has sparked a broader conversation about the need for balance, self-care, and a more sustainable approach to filmmaking. Howard's comments about the changing nature of Hollywood have also fueled debate. The rise of streaming giants like Netflix, Amazon, and Disney has transformed the way movies are made, distributed, and consumed. While these platforms have created new opportunities for storytellers, they have also led to a homogenization of content, with studios increasingly relying on proven formulas and established franchises. Howard's lament that the art is being squeezed out of the business has been echoed by other filmmakers who worry that originality and risk-taking are being sacrificed in the name of profit. This tension is especially evident in the world of blockbuster filmmaking. Howard, who has directed both intimate dramas and big-budget spectacles, is uniquely positioned to comment on the shift. He pointed out that while franchise films can be exciting and innovative, they often come with creative constraints. "There's a formula now," he explained. "Studios want to minimize risk, so they stick to what works. But that means there's less room for new voices and fresh ideas." For Howard, the challenge is finding a way to balance commercial success with artistic integrity. A challenge that is becoming increasingly difficult in today's Hollywood. The personal toll of a life spent in the spotlight was another theme that resonated with audiences. Howard's reflections on his family's experiences, especially those of his daughter, Bryce Dallas Howard, highlight the unique pressures faced by Hollywood families. The constant scrutiny, the expectations to live up to a famous name, and the ever-present threat of public criticism can be overwhelming. Howard's concern for the next generation of actors is palpable. "It's a different world now," he said. "Social media has changed everything. There's no escape from the spotlight, and that can be really tough, especially for young people." In the wake of Howard's interview, many have praised his courage in speaking out. Industry veterans have called for a reevaluation of how Hollywood treats its talent, both in front of and behind the camera. There is growing recognition that the relentless pursuit of success can come at a steep price, and that the industry must do more to support the well-being of its creative community. Some studios have even begun to implement new policies aimed at promoting mental health, work-life balance, and creative freedom. However, not everyone has welcomed Howard's candor. Some critics have accused him of being out of touch, arguing that his success and privilege make it difficult for him to understand the struggles of less established artists. Others worry that his comments could discourage aspiring filmmakers, painting too bleak a picture of an industry that still offers opportunities for those willing to work hard and take risks. Despite the mixed reactions, one thing is certain: Ron Howard's decision to break his silence has sparked a necessary and overdue conversation. By sharing his own struggles, he has given permission for others to do the same, helping to break down the stigma around burnout, disappointment, and the darker side of Hollywood success. As the industry grapples with these issues, Howard's words will continue to echo, reminding everyone that even the brightest stars can face moments of doubt, and that true strength lies in the willingness to speak the truth. As the dust settles from Ron Howard's bombshell interview, the entertainment world is left to reckon with the deeper implications of his words. For many, Howard's willingness to address the darker realities of Hollywood has been a wake-up call. It's not just about one man's struggle with burnout or disillusionment. It's about an entire industry at a crossroads, forced to confront the cost of its relentless pursuit of success. One of the most significant aftershocks has been the renewed focus on mental health in Hollywood. Howard's admission that he has felt overwhelmed and isolated, even at the height of his career, has resonated with countless others in the business. Directors, actors, and crew members have begun to speak more openly about their own experiences with anxiety, depression, and exhaustion. The conversation has extended beyond the creative community, with fans and commentators alike questioning whether the industry's culture of nonstop work and constant reinvention is sustainable. Studios and production companies are starting to take notice. Some have announced new initiatives aimed at supporting the mental well-being of their employees, from on-set counselors to mandatory breaks between projects. There is a growing recognition that creativity cannot flourish in an environment of constant pressure and fear. Howard's words have helped to legitimize these concerns, giving voice to those who have long felt unable to speak out. But the challenges facing Hollywood go beyond mental health. Howard's critique of the industry's creative direction has sparked a broader debate about the future of filmmaking. The dominance of franchises, reboots, and sequels has left many wondering whether there is still room for original stories and new voices. Howard's lament that the art is being squeezed out of the business has struck a chord with filmmakers who feel stifled by the demands of the marketplace. This debate is not just academic, it has real consequences for the kinds of movies that get made. As studios pour resources into proven properties, smaller, riskier projects are often left by the wayside. For aspiring directors and writers, the path to success has become narrower and more uncertain. Howard's own career, which has spanned everything from intimate dramas to blockbuster spectacles, is a testament to the value of creative risk-taking. His warning that Hollywood is losing sight of what makes movies special is a call to action for the industry to rediscover its roots. The personal side of Howard's revelations has also struck a nerve. His reflections on the impact of fame on his family, especially his daughter Bryce Dallas Howard, have highlighted the unique pressures faced by those who grow up in the spotlight. The constant scrutiny, the expectations to live up to a famous name, and the ever-present threat of public criticism can be overwhelming. Howard's concern for the next generation of actors is a reminder that the challenges of Hollywood are not limited to those in front of the camera. In the wake of Howard's interview, there has been an outpouring of support from fans and colleagues. Many have praised his courage in speaking out, while others have shared their own stories of struggle and resilience. The conversation has extended beyond Hollywood, with people in other high-pressure industries drawing parallels to their own experiences. Howard's willingness to break his silence has helped to break down the stigma around burnout and disappointment, encouraging others to seek help and support when needed. Yet, there are those who worry that Howard's candor could have unintended consequences. Some fear that his comments will discourage young people from pursuing careers in the arts, or that they will reinforce negative stereotypes about the industry. Others argue that Hollywood, for all its flaws, still offers opportunities for those willing to work hard and take risks. The debate is ongoing, but one thing is clear: Howard's words have changed the conversation, forcing the industry to confront issues that have long been ignored. As Ron Howard moves forward, the question remains, what comes next for one of Hollywood's most respected figures? Will he continue to direct and produce, or will he step back from the spotlight to focus on his family and personal well-being? Whatever he decides, his decision to break the silence has left an indelible mark on the industry, and on everyone who has ever dreamed of making it in Hollywood. As the industry continues to process Ron Howard's revelations, the ripple effects are being felt in unexpected ways. For many, Howard's willingness to speak out has become a catalyst for change, prompting a new wave of introspection and dialogue within Hollywood. The conversations sparked by his interview are not just about burnout or creative stagnation. They're about the very soul of the entertainment business and what it means to create art in a world driven by profit and spectacle. One of the most immediate impacts has been a renewed focus on the well-being of those who work behind the scenes. While actors and directors often receive the lion's share of attention, Howard's comments have shone a light on the countless crew members, writers, editors, and technicians whose contributions are essential but often overlooked. The long hours, tight deadlines, and constant pressure to deliver can take a heavy toll on everyone involved in a production. In response, some studios are beginning to implement new policies aimed at promoting healthier work environments, including mandatory rest periods, access to mental health resources, and more transparent communication about expectations and workloads. Howard's critique of the creative direction of Hollywood has also sparked a broader conversation about the future of storytelling. As streaming platforms continue to dominate, the pressure to produce content that appeals to the widest possible audience has led to a proliferation of formulaic projects. Originality and risk-taking are often sacrificed in favor of safe bets and established franchises. For Howard and many of his peers, this trend is deeply troubling. The fear is that Hollywood is losing its ability to surprise, challenge, and inspire audiences, a loss that could have long-term consequences for the industry as a whole. In the wake of Howard's interview, some filmmakers and producers are pushing back against the status quo. There is a growing movement to support independent projects, nurture new talent, and prioritize stories that reflect a wider range of experiences and perspectives. Film festivals, crowdfunding platforms, and boutique studios are playing an increasingly important role in giving voice to those who might otherwise be shut out of the mainstream. Howard's call to rediscover what makes movies special is being taken up by a new generation of creators determined to keep the art of filmmaking alive. On a personal level, Howard's openness about the impact of fame on his family has resonated with many in the industry. The challenges faced by children of celebrities, unrealistic expectations, constant scrutiny, and the pressure to live up to a famous name are rarely discussed openly. By sharing his concerns for his daughter Bryce and others like her, Howard has helped to destigmatize these struggles and encourage more honest conversations about the realities of growing up in the spotlight. The public's response to Howard's interview has been overwhelmingly supportive, with fans expressing gratitude for his honesty and vulnerability. Many have shared their own stories of burnout, disappointment, and the search for meaning in their work. The sense of solidarity that has emerged is a testament to the power of storytelling, not just on the screen but in real life. Howard's willingness to break his silence has reminded people that even the most successful and admired figures are human, with their own fears, doubts, and regrets. Yet the challenges facing Hollywood are far from resolved. The industry remains under pressure to deliver profits, and the temptation to stick with proven formulas is strong. The question now is whether Howard's words will lead to lasting change, or whether they will be forgotten as the next big blockbuster or celebrity scandal takes center stage. For those who care about the future of film, the hope is that this moment of reflection will spark a new era of creativity, compassion, and courage. As for Ron Howard himself, his legacy is already secure. Whether he chooses to continue directing, focus on producing, or step back to spend more time with his family, his impact on Hollywood is undeniable. By breaking his silence, Howard has not only changed the conversation, he has challenged an entire industry to do better, to care more, and to remember why they fell in love with movies in the first place. As the reverberations from Ron Howard's candid interview continue to echo, the entertainment industry finds itself at a crossroads. The questions he raised about burnout, creative stagnation, and the pressures of fame are not easily answered. For many, Howard's words have become a rallying cry, a call to action for Hollywood to reevaluate its priorities and rediscover its sense of purpose. But change, as always, comes slowly, and the path forward is anything but clear. One of the most significant outcomes of Howard's revelations has been a renewed emphasis on mental health and well-being within the industry. Studios and production companies are beginning to recognize that the relentless pace of filmmaking is unsustainable, not just for directors and actors, but for everyone involved. New initiatives are being launched to provide support for those struggling with anxiety, depression, and exhaustion. Workshops, counseling services, and peer support groups are becoming more common, and there is a growing recognition that taking care of people is just as important as producing hits. At the same time, Howard's critique of Hollywood's creative direction has sparked a broader debate about the future of storytelling. The dominance of franchises and reboots has led to concerns that originality is being sacrificed for the sake of profit. For many filmmakers, the challenge is finding a way to balance commercial success with artistic integrity. Howard's own career, which has spanned everything from intimate character studies to blockbuster spectacles, is a testament to the value of taking risks and pushing boundaries. His warning that the art is being squeezed out of the business has inspired a new generation of creators to fight for their vision, even in the face of industry pressures. The impact of Howard's interview has also been felt on a personal level. For those who have spent their lives in the spotlight, his openness about the toll of fame has been both validating and liberating. Actors, musicians, and other public figures have come forward to share their own experiences with burnout, isolation, and the struggle to maintain a sense of self in a world that demands constant reinvention. Howard's willingness to speak out has helped to break down the stigma around these issues, encouraging others to seek help and support when needed. Yet, for all the progress that has been made, there are still those who resist change. Some industry insiders argue that the pressures of Hollywood are simply part of the job, and that those who can't handle it should find another line of work. Others worry that too much focus on mental health and work-life balance will lead to a decline in productivity and creativity. The debate is ongoing, and the outcome is far from certain. For Ron Howard, The decision to break his silence has come at a personal cost. While he has been widely praised for his honesty, he has also faced criticism from those who see his comments as a sign of weakness or ingratitude. Some have accused him of being out of touch with the realities faced by less successful artists, while others have questioned whether his concerns are truly representative of the industry as a whole. Howard, for his part, has remained gracious and thoughtful, emphasizing that his goal is not to complain, but to spark a conversation about how Hollywood can do better. As the industry grapples with these issues, the legacy of Ron Howard's interview is still being written. Will his words lead to lasting change, or will they be forgotten as the next big story takes over the headlines? Only time will tell. What is certain is that Howard's willingness to speak out has made a difference, giving voice to those who have long felt unheard and inspiring others to share their own stories. As we look to the future, the hope is that Hollywood will heed Howard's call to action, that the industry will find a way to balance profit with passion, success with sustainability, and fame with fulfillment. For Ron Howard, the journey continues, whether behind the camera mentoring young filmmakers or simply enjoying time with his family. His influence will be felt for years to come. As the dust finally settles on Ron Howard's powerful revelations, the entertainment world is left to reflect on what his words truly mean, not just for Hollywood, but for anyone who has ever chased a dream or struggled under the weight of expectation. Howard's decision to break his silence was more than a personal confession. It was a mirror held up to an industry and to a culture that often values output over well-being, spectacle over substance, and profit over passion. For many, Howard's honesty has been a breath of fresh air in a world that too often demands perfection. His willingness to admit to burnout, creative exhaustion, and doubts about the future has made him more relatable than ever. Fans who grew up watching him as Opie or Richie, or who admired his work as a director, now see a man who, despite all his success, is still searching for meaning and balance. In a society obsessed with achievement, Howard's story is a reminder that even the most accomplished among us are not immune to struggle. The industry's response to Howard's interview has been mixed, but the conversation it sparked is ongoing. Some studios have doubled down on their commitment to mental health, implementing new policies and resources for cast and crew. Others remain resistant, clinging to the old ways and insisting that the pressures of Hollywood are simply part of the job. But the tide is turning, and Howard's words have helped to push the conversation forward. More and more, there is an understanding that creativity flourishes best in an environment of support, respect, and genuine care. Howard's critique of Hollywood's creative direction has also left a lasting mark. The debate over originality versus formula, art versus commerce, is not new. But Howard's perspective, shaped by decades of experience, carries weight. His call for a return to risk-taking, for nurturing new voices and telling stories that matter, has inspired a new generation of filmmakers to push boundaries and challenge conventions. Whether or not the industry as a whole will heed this call remains to be seen, but the seeds of change have been planted. On a personal level, Howard's openness about the impact of fame on his family has resonated deeply. The challenges faced by children of celebrities, the pressure to live up to a famous name, and the constant scrutiny of the public eye are rarely discussed so candidly. By sharing his concerns for his daughter Bryce and others like her, Howard has helped to destigmatize these struggles and encourage more honest conversations about the realities of life in the spotlight. As for Howard himself, his future remains an open question. Will he continue to direct and produce, or will he step back to focus on his family and personal well-being? Whatever he chooses, his legacy is secure. He has already given the world a remarkable body of work, and his influence as a mentor and advocate for change will be felt for years to come. For fans, Howard's story is both sobering and inspiring. It is a reminder that success is not a shield against hardship, and that true strength lies in the courage to speak the truth, even when it's not what people want to hear. Howard's willingness to break his silence has made him a role model not just for filmmakers, but for anyone facing their own crossroads. In the end, the story of Ron Howard is a testament to the power of vulnerability, the importance of balance, and the enduring value of art that comes from the heart. His journey, with all its highs and lows, is a reflection of the human experience itself, messy, complicated, and ultimately, deeply meaningful. As Hollywood continues to evolve, the lessons of Howard's story will remain relevant. The industry may never be perfect, but with leaders willing to speak out, to challenge the status quo, and to put people before profit, there is hope for a brighter, more compassionate future. Ron Howard's voice, once a gentle presence in America's living rooms, now echoes as a call to action. A reminder that it's never too late to change, to grow, and to make a difference.